Kenya could lose out on a multi-billion shilling pipe project after the neighboring country decided to explore the Tanzanian route to construct the oil pipeline. Now, this was the subject of talks between President Uhuru Kenyatta and his Ugandan counterpart, President Yoweri Museveni, who jetted to the country early today. Now, the issue will once again be reviewed in 2 weeks' time. KTN's Joy Dorinbira has been following this development and now joins us from our city center studios. Joy, what can you tell us?
Thanks a lot, James. Well, anything regarding the Kenya-Uganda pipeline deal, I guess, is one that is driving a lot of conversation around the country for those parties that do matter in this case. Now, just a bit of a history about this whole deal. It just so happened that in 2013, when the LAPSET project was rolled out, it was geared towards ensuring improved trade amongst the East African countries, excluding Tanzania. And this was involving countries like Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, and South Sudan. And then as a complement to this LAPSET project, in 2015, Uganda and Kenya agreed to have a pipeline constructed that will run through Kenya and go all the way to Uganda, that is in the Lake Albert region where Uganda's oil deposits are, or oil reserves are. Now, what happened is that this doesn't seem to have been the case, as 2 months later, Uganda now went ahead to have a memorandum of understanding with Tanzania as well to review, or rather explore, options of whether or not it would also be ideal to have this pipeline deal, or pipeline rather, constructed through Tanzania, that is the Tanga route going all the way to Hoima in Uganda. And Kenya has not really taken this very simply, as Kenya stands to benefit from the pipeline deal should it be constructed, or should the pipeline run through Kenya's territory. Now, Uganda playing double standards in this case is something that I think Kenya is not going to take very lightly, but it's also an issue that Uganda really needs to critically look into, because the decision that Uganda makes in this pipeline deal is likely to have an impact on several other projects that are jointly being worked on between Uganda, Kenya, and other East African countries. James.
Well, Joy Dorinbira there. Joy, just one final question for me, because Kenyans are asking, why is this even important to Kenyans? Why do we need it?
All right. If I actually got that right, now what happened today is that President Uhuru Kenyatta and President Yoweri Museveni of Uganda as well did meet at State House Nairobi, and a number of issues that they agreed upon to also, review the options. Now, Kenya did offer Uganda a number of options that you might have seen on the screen, and one of them was to ensure that they were making a least cost decision, one that if they chose to go with Kenya, then these were going to be the cost implications, and if they decided to go with Tanzania as well, then there were going to be some other implications to that as well. The other option was to have the pipeline as well be looped to Turkana from Nakuru. That is one of the other options that Kenya did give to Uganda as well. Now, what's going to happen is that there's not much of a decision that was made today, but in the next 2 weeks, when the next Northern Corridor meeting is going to happen, that's when Uganda is likely to give feedback on the options that were given to Uganda by Kenya in this case. And as you can see, one of the other options is ensuring and assessing, as well as confirming the current proven reserves, which will have an impact on the size of the pipeline as well, among other issues. Also, the viability of the ports of Lamu, Mombasa, as well as Hoima, and that is one issue that I think is very critical right now that we are looking at regarding the pipeline deal. Now, should Uganda decide to go with Tanzania, this is likely to impact the other projects that Kenya and Uganda are jointly working on, and that will also involve the standard gauge railway and the other infrastructure projects that these countries are jointly working on. But one issue that has come out of these conversations and negotiations between Kenya and Uganda is that, Uganda seems to be in a bit of a mix, not so sure which country is more viable, but we can also see that there was a disagreement between the oil companies, that is Tullow Oil coming forward and saying that, you know, it's much cheaper to have the pipeline run through Kenya's territory, and Total, that is France's Total as well, is coming up and saying that it is safer to have the pipeline go through Tanzania for you know, risks associated to insecurity as well as ethnic violence and unpredictable elections in 2017 and 2022. But these are all options that are being put out by the oil companies. It is a very political issue as it is economic, that the decision that Uganda makes in this case is going to impact both Kenya and Uganda as well as Tanzania in different ways. James.
Joy Doreen Bira, thank you very much for that update. 2 weeks, and we might sit again and see what Uganda decides. Thank you very much.